Hello, hello. Welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is Helen Lipscombe. She is expert in business resistance with the experience over 20 years. And we will speak about how to maintain sustainable business and not be caught with disruption when they happen unexpectedly. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Elena. Thanks for having me on your conversation.
You're most welcome. So let's speak about such important topic, how to be prepared for disruption if they happen and how to maintain sustainable business.
So, business disruption is inevitable, and what I focus on and what I want organizations to focus on is what they can practically do to be prepared for business disruption. And it could be that key people are unavailable. It could be that your big building is flooded. Um, it could be that one of your key suppliers becomes unavailable. So there are lots of pragmatic reasons why disruption could happen. The key is you can be prepared. It's not something that you should be waiting until the disruption happens. What is our plan? What are we going to do? Resilience is all about anticipating what your disruptions could be and anticipating what um, options you can implement when that happens and when the disruption does happen.
Yes. So what are the areas that people have to take in consideration to make sure that whatever happens, they can continue their business?
So it's all about your businesses are focused on delivering for customers and clients. So we're looking to maintain that ability to deliver. And if you look at what an organization is, what a business is, it's really made up of four different areas. So you have people who are the people that manage your organization, the people that deliver the services. You have locations that you work from, whether that is specific offices or manufacturing locations, depends on the organization. And you also have IT systems that you require to do the roles that you do and for the organization to work, equipment, specific equipment. And then the final element is around any suppliers that you need to, again, continue to deliver the services for businesses and for your customers. Those are the four areas that can be impacted by a business disruption. And what business resilience is about saying, if one of those areas is impacted, how will that impact you and stop you from um, delivering for customers and clients? And if there is a likely impact, what are you going to do about it? What can you do to minimize that impact so actually the disruption doesn't happen in the first place? Um, or if the disruption happens, what can you do to very quickly recover and continue delivery of those customers and for those clients?
Yes, it is always good to be prepared. Yes, so you
Exactly.
can continue what you do and maintain sustainable business. And in your 20 years experience, what was the biggest takeaways which you could like to share that people who listening to us can implement?
So I think the biggest takeaway for me is this is not complicated and it's not for a lot of people this is not new because we do this in terms of everything we do in our life. We think about if we have a disruption, and this could be if my bus doesn't turn up in the morning and I get the bus to work, what are my options? If the train is delayed, what are my options? So it's about applying those same principles that we do to actually continue our daily life to our businesses. So for me, the biggest takeaway I'd say is this isn't complicated, and it doesn't actually require you to think differently in a lot of cases to how you would normally. The biggest difference in terms of the work I do with customers and clients is making sure it's written down and not just in somebody's head, because often we know what we would do, but we don't write it down and we don't share it with our team members. So we need to make sure that we have that. And we also need to make sure that it would work. And that's about practicing. So again, it's very simple to say if person A is unavailable, person B will pick up the roles and responsibilities. But if they are not familiar with those roles and responsibilities, if they've not had the opportunity to do that, then you will have a delay. You will have an impact to customers and clients. You can do cross training in advance of a disruption that means that there isn't that delay, and it means that there isn't as much of an impact to customers and clients. So again, it's a lot about writing down what you would do and making sure it will actually deliver what you would expect and will work.
Yes, so thank you for sharing. What else you would like to share with people who are listening to us about this topic?
So
What
I
do you
think
think would be practical that they can use? Yeah.
the other thing I would share, so most of the work I do is with organizations and businesses, but we all have a responsibility in the country for societal resilience. And that really is about saying that disruption isn't something that just happens to businesses. If a flood happens, it happens to people's homes as much as it happens to locations and businesses. So to what I'd always say to people is, what's your plan? What would you do if your home floods? What would you do if suddenly you can't get to where you normally live, or you can't act, think things happen that mean that you can't just do the normal things that you would expect to do? Because having your own plan means you are starting that kind of thought process of being prepared. And there's a lot of very helpful information out there. So there is guidance, particularly within the UK, but also in other countries about what individuals can do to be prepared. There's a UK Prepare website which provides some really helpful information around, what you should have in a little grab bag. So a little hold all that if there was a problem and you had to evacuate your location, you can do very quickly. And I think that, the world is changing. Climate change, we've seen lots of examples of what climate change is doing to the world, and how natural hazards are becoming much more prevalent in areas that they weren't necessarily prevalent anymore. So this is not something that we can all ignore. So again, it's more about, as my focus is working with businesses, everybody has that responsibility, and everybody in the UK and the world at large should be thinking about what can we do to prepare, what simple actions that we can take that will help protect us and our families and our loved ones, because ultimately that's what the focus should be.
Yeah, very, very good, really, to consider everything what can happen. Like recently, there is such a huge fire in California.
Exactly.
You might have seen it. So many houses, villas, like hectares of areas are burnt.
Mhm.
Forests, yes. So sometimes, of course, it is difficult even to imagine what can happen. And it can happen, yes, it can happen just so fast. And it is very good perception of yours to be prepared and share this, what you have seen for 20 years.
Yeah. And I think just that's about managing, to me, it's about managing that uncertainty because we don't know. I mean, it's devastating what's happening in California right now and has been happening with the wildfires recently. As I say, we had uh, floods, floods, that's not the word. We had floods in the UK before Christmas. And that's devastating when that happens because that again significantly impacts communities and it impacts businesses and communities together. This isn't something that it's one individual's responsibility any more than it's a government's responsibility to come in and help. We all have a role to play in this. Um, and we should all be thinking about what we can do to manage in those kind of situations.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was very valuable conversation, and I'm sure that people who are listening to us will take it into consideration to be prepared as well for different disruptions which can happen. Anything what you would like to advise before we wrap up this episode?
Be prepared and don't hide away from the reality of this. It's not as scary as it feels or seems if you're prepared.
Mhm. Yeah, because sometimes people in unexpected situation can just froze. Yes,
Absolutely.
the nervous system can show different actions, and some people just froze. They don't know what to do when they get in panic. Yes, so
Yeah,
this what we discussed will help you not to be in panic, but see the way out of different situations and make decisions based on that.
exactly that. You're more likely to make sensible decisions if you've thought about it in advance. If you're deciding at the time and you don't know what you're going to do, you will panic. So planning ahead helps to manage your own uncertainty and your panic in that. So that's the key thing to me.
Yes, thank you so much, Helen. Yeah, it was important, very practical conversation today.
Yeah,
Of
thank you.
course, we all live and think that nothing happens. Yes, like we see something and think, oh, it is somewhere very far, but nothing happens here. Yes, we don't want to live and expect something happen, but it is good to be prepared. Yes, expect good to happen in your life, but be prepared in case of something goes wrong, not the way how we expect it to be.
Exactly that. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much, and
thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Lovely to speak to you.